Matt Gaetz obviously is out of Congress now. He will probably make his foray back in at some point. He's so young. Be my guess. He's going to try something at some point. Who knows? He may even try to get his congressional seat back. Didn't hear nothing from me. But what he did do is explain exactly why we have this systematic problem. And I think one of the best ways to crystallize this example of why our entire government is captured by the Zio state need look no further than this very brief clip from an interview that, don't ask me how, I don't understand why Stephen Miller's wife, Katie Miller, is getting all of these, we'll just call them high-level interviews. I'm sure that it has probably some connection to Barry Weiss. It's something about these Jewish brunette women that look slightly like they could potentially have some blood Middle East related. I don't know.
You mean the Zio cunts?
Well, you said it. I didn't say it.
I said it. Zio cunts.
So after she sits down for an interview with Kash Patel and his significant other, now she sits down for an interview with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and his significant other. And this was a key talking point in that interview.
It is overblown, the schism in the Republican Party over the idea of anti-Semitism and those who are claiming one person is and one person isn't.
I wish we could put that aside, and I wish that everybody would acknowledge the importance of that relationship. And there, as has been noted, there are lots of scripturally based biblical reasons to support Israel. But even if you don't accept that, you have to look at this objectively and say it's really important to have that ally and partner in that corner of the world.
So there you go. So on the one hand, it's a biblical reason that we need to have this relationship. And if that's not good enough for you, then how about an economic reason to have it?
Can we also talk about how unbelievably, are you telling me that Stephen Miller's wife in this capacity is acting as sort of like a reporter or an interviewer, a la like a Barbara Walters? Like, is that what role she's in here?
I don't know what it is with these Zio brunettes, but you think about the fact that Laura Loomer has a open door pass to the Pentagon. You think about the fact that Barry Weiss is in control of CBS News.
Okay, let's talk about how unbelievably unprofessional and ridiculous this woman looks. And this is somebody who I went to journalism school, granted, very, very many years ago. So this is a professional interview with the Speaker of the House. Okay, you're in a pretty official looking office. You are slouched over sideways, like with a body aversion to the people you're interviewing, leaning on the armrest. You have your bottom foot like as if your little mules are coming off, like you're just hanging out at home, like you're just very chill and relaxed. And you look like very uncomfortable and awkward. Take off your jacket, stay for a minute. Okay. Why is your hair all bunched up? You look so unprofessional. This is, yeah, we're in a really bad state of who is this? Why is she like, this is an embarrassment for like all women that ever had to like claw their way in this business to be able to have a job like that. And she's sitting there like she had to take time out of her errand and going to get a latte this afternoon to go sit down and do this with the Speaker.
Well, if you really want to get into the heart of it, which is something that you've actually avoided doing, I'm not sure too many people know that this woman is from the same community. I don't know if she's from the same neighborhood, but she is a resident of the same community that Debbie Wasserman Schultz lives in.
Yes, this is a girl who is from Weston and graduated from Cypress Bay High School and apparently was not very well liked. And was not considered a very nice person. Like I've seen a lot of things coming out from people from her class, and also the same I heard about her from her time at University of Florida.
So she failed upwards, essentially.
Well, she just, look, it's like a cunt is going to cunt. It's the same thing as with Debbie. I had told you my cousin knew her when she was at UF and he was in law school, and she would wanting to hang around with the law students. And when I ran against her the first time, and he told me, he's like, she was a cunt then. So it's like these people are who they are, but look at her body language. Look how she's like, so I have to do this. Look, I got my note cards.
Well, look at her freaking loafers that she has on. I mean,
they're not loafers, they're mules, which means that they don't even have backs to them. She's sitting there like she's wearing house slippers, leaning sideways, very casually, very sloppily, with an interview with the Speaker of the House.
Well, we're an idiocracy.
Yeah, it's a really bad look. She's ridiculous.
And remember, this is a person who is 1,000% behind the Zio state, through a conniption fit on Piers Morgan. You know, that time that you're an anti-Semite. Piers, I am going to leave if you don't deal with this person who's making me feel bad. So she's just a princess. She's a princess, but she's also looks so put off by having to do this. Well, Matt
does
Gaetz,
an interview sitting like that.
Well, Matt Gaetz is going to explain this as he recently sat down with Tucker Carlson, why this is such a big issue and why people like Katie Miller are able to do this, why she is with no credentials of any order, of any level that would warrant her sitting down with the Speaker of the House. This is one of the reasons why there is so much of this blackmail that goes on and how they get all of Congress under their thumb.
Opt to silence me. And Israel was involved. And I hate to say that. I was shocked to learn it. But there was a consulate official.
Okay, this is amazing. So this is the charge that you were like trafficking underage girls.
Absurd. And
I don't even know what the charge was, but that was the headline. Matt Gaetz traffics underage women. It's like, oh my gosh, can't talk to Matt Gaetz anymore.
Well, for us, the shocking moment was when my father, who's a prominent person in our community, got outreach from someone he had never met that said that there were pictures and images of me with underage prostitutes, and my dad needed to meet with these people right away. And so my dad, somewhat surprised and concerned, goes and talks to these people and says, "What in the world are you talking about?" And they said, "Well, Mr. Gaetz, we need $25 million from you to go and rescue a spy that is being held in Iran. And if you do that, we can make these things about your son go away."
Now think about how common that type of behavior probably is on Capitol Hill. How many lives get ruined? And, you know, Matt Gaetz's father was I think he is, I think his father is in elected office now. I think his name is Ron Gaetz, if I remember correctly. I think that's his name. Or I could be.
This was an extortion situation. And, you know, and for the record, I remember at the time we talked about this when this was the news about Gaetz, and I was always very suspect of the whole thing because, and he even says, it's like nobody has charged him in any such a way where there's an actual charge or anything where he has the means of questioning a witness. There is no thing there. It's you just put it out there in the ether and then it just sort of takes its own flight. And it never was a thing, which isn't to say that he might not be lechy and creepy. I don't know. But child sex trafficking was what they were sort of trying to make it sound. And I always thought that sounded ridiculous.
Yeah. And I see Miss Ritchie just put this in the chat. Tucker actually had him on back in 2021. He tried to talk about it then. Tucker didn't seem to believe him. I mean, again, at the time, this was on Fox News. And it's also before Tucker. I mean, again, anything prior to October 7th, I'm not saying it's a free pass for a lot of these guys, but there's no question that those who may have suspected that there was indecent behavior on part of the Zio lobby that was going on was something that was just kind of a known thing. I don't think a lot of them knew the depths to which they were willing to go to harm people. And that's why we're going to eventually get into it regarding Leslie Wexner, which I think he's the key figure in the whole Epstein story. Trump is nothing compared to somebody like Wexner. So therein lies what I think is the big issue here when you see somebody like Mike Johnson have to sit down. Why would Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, have to sit down with somebody like Katie Miller?
Why is she the menu of the interview? Like, are you saying like whatever happened to Barbara Walters and the like? Is that what you're wondering? Or whatever happened to people like
Helen Thomas?
Well, we know what happened to people like that. Like anybody credible has been long since banished from those seats, which is why there's no actual journalist. You only get friends of empire to sit in those seats and ask prescribed questions. Like, that's it.
Exactly.
Which was crazy and wild. We did what any reasonable people would do. We went to the FBI and said that we were being extorted by these folks with their false claims. And we later learned that this consulate official working for the Israeli government was sending text messages to Scott Adams, of all people, the Dilbert cartoonist, saying they were expecting my father to furnish this $25 million payment, and that would be evidence of my consciousness of guilt.
For the American FBI agent grabbed on an Iranian island maybe 18 or 19 years ago.
And I don't know anything about this person. I don't know if the person's dead or alive,
don't either.
but it was troubling and concerning to me that someone who was getting paid by the Israeli government was involved in a criminal shakedown of a U.S. congressman.
Yes, that should be troubling to everybody.
And he's probably one of several. I mean, who knows? Remember, Matt Gaetz, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene, again, they had their own version of the squad. They had Marjorie Taylor Greene, they had Lauren Boebert, they had Matt Gaetz, and they had that Madison Cawthorn guy in North Carolina. Anytime you're a featured player, if you will, a noted figure on, news media, social media, independent media, you have a target on your back if you're not walking the line. And in the case of Matt Gaetz, he was definitely not walking the line. It was obvious that he wasn't. And he was one of the only Republican Congress members who was talking actively about single-payer health care. So when somebody like him starts walking that line of maybe we're not as divided as we think we are, and he's a key figure in making something like that happen, well, naturally, you know what's going to happen. They're going to either find something on him that they can exploit into something much bigger than what it really is, or they'll just make it up. Why not?
Or somewhere in between, or a little of both. I mean, no, I don't think Matt Gaetz is a pedo. I don't think that. And I don't know what he's involved in, but it's, if there were something, then file charges, okay, have claimants, have witnesses, have victim statements, have some evidence. There's no lawsuits have been filed civilly. So if there's something there, present something or shut up.
And someone went to jail for this. The person who conveyed this message to my father pled guilty to the attempted fraud. And surprisingly, there was never really an effort to figure out what the government of Israel's involvement was in this matter.
But you know that the government of Israel was involved because this was an Israeli government official who was involved in this?
Yes, a person who, his name's Jake Novak. I think he currently works for Real America's Voice. And he sent text messages.
What?
Yeah, that's the name of the official. And he sent messages to Scott Adams saying that he was involved in this scheme that was later deemed a criminal scheme to shake down my family.
So what
based on
happened
these
to
false
him?
allegations. He got a television show.
Come on now.
That's the whole thing about failing upward.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you did your job. Now we're going to give you a TV show. Hey, Katie Miller, thank you for being Goebbels' significant other and doing everything you can to help aid and abet the state of Israel. Now we're going to give you a prominent position on television. It does kind of go together like a fine fit puzzle, doesn't it?
Well, people that are in her position, you never know why they're in there. Is it because they just bought their way in? Is it because they demanded that they be in that position, or somebody above someone's pay grade said you will hire this person? Like, I mean, there's nothing about her that screams that she has a skill set that got her to where she is, right? Like, nothing in particular. And yeah, guys, this was not about doing a dissertation on Matt Gaetz's, lechy activities.
No, guys, this is the thing. You're also caught up in this idea that Matt Gaetz did this, Matt Gaetz did that. You guys don't know shit about what goes on behind those closed doors in Congress. You only know about him because he got out of line. There are so many other people, so much more worse and depraved, but They do what they're told. And when you do what you're told, it's all, again, it's like dead men tell no tales. You don't know what goes on. You don't know of any of these things, but you better believe that if any of them ever got out of line, those skeletons would fly out of the closet so fast you wouldn't even know what to do. That's the whole thing about the Epstein files being as long as it is, because in the end, it is one nation under blackmail. Now, of course, there are people that are doing the blackmail, but there's no question that Matt Gaetz, who I'm sure has done some shady stuff, he's no saint. We're not here to say that he is, but do you think for 1 second that he wouldn't still be in Congress if he wasn't doing exactly what he's told? You bet your ass he'd still be there.
Didn't know any of this. I'm not playing dumb. I really didn't know that. Have you ever talked to him about it?
I have attempted to figure out, because obviously I still have a lot of unanswered questions about why he was working for a foreign government and trying to shake down my family.
Well, what's the answer, do you think?
Well, some have shared with me their concern that this was a consequence of some of the votes and positions I took in the Congress. I represented one of the most military-heavy districts in the entire country.
I think number one.
Yeah, right up there. And I saw these wars in the Middle East that my neighbors and friends had fought in as unworthy of our best, unworthy of the disruptions in parenting and the divorces and the injuries,
suicides. Yeah.
And so I took the position that we should be less entangled in these things, and I think that really shocked a number of people who thought I would be more of a neocon coming from the district I came from.
So I live in Matt Gaetz's district, and it is as military heavy as you can imagine. I happen to live right by the biggest Air Force base in the world, Eglin Air Force Base. And most of my neighbors are all in the service. And it is admirable to have had a congressional representative who wasn't trying to send them all off to die. That's actually rare. Remember, it's called peace through strength for a reason. And before Tulsi got her mind right, she used to say the same thing. And so now war just becomes interesting. Miss Ritchie commenting here. I knew Matt Gaetz in college. He liked the ladies, but he also had a very contrarian streak. That's why I think they're worried about him. He's harder to control than most politics. That's it. That's the whole
Yes,
point.
and it is because he is a Nepo baby and because he has privilege. When you have privilege, you're able to do that because you know that you have a safety net. He knows that he could say what he wants because at the end of the day, he's going to be safe with his family and his safety net. So yes, that's the privilege. But that would also put him more in a class traitor category. And we have to have a certain amount of respect for that. So yeah, if he's a Nepo baby and he's using that position to speak out against the military industrial complex, then that's somebody that, you know, that's on our team as far as getting out of war.